Chapter 41. Operation, Seducing Lin Feng. The date, 6, you are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Xiong Ji proceed to her plan. They ate first, tried different food stall while giving full attention at Lin Feng's taste. And she found out that he likes spicy food. So in the next food stall, she ordered spicy seafood for Lin Feng. After eating their full, they played at Game Zone. They both played the basketball, which Lin Feng aced it all, and Xiong Ji got only 8 points out of 15. They went to the bumped car. Small cars for 2 people. But they rent one each. While driving and just turning at every corner, Xiong Ji became mischievous. She always bumped to Lin Feng and cornered him. Smiling a little, her eyes challenging Lin Feng to bypass her car and escape. Of course, Lin Feng played with her. However, in each turn he made, Xiong Ji would also turn and her front was glued to his side, still pushing him in the corner. This stayed for 10 minutes. Many people who were also in the area were looking at them curiously. Some people would took this chance to drive smoothly. Even they just driving around. However, the 2 teenagers who were wearing a matching shirt were in the corner. One was cornering the other car. This made the people around them smile at them. They were all thinking. How cute. Lin Feng sweated. Jia was a hard opponent, not letting him out. Xiong Ji was just smirking. She enjoyed the cornered Lin Feng. Then Lin Feng's eyes brightened. He seemed to remember something. Jia, did I already told you, how cute you are in your blue dress? But I like it more when you're wearing the same shirt as me. He gave her his dashing smile. Xiong Ji froze and her heart skipped a beat. Then Lin Feng turned his car and bypassed the frozen Xiong Ji. His laughter sounded while his car was getting further. Oh! Finally! He got even for those times when Xiong Ji praised him or told him that kind of things that left him frozen and dumbstruck. Remembering the frozen and startled face of Xiong Ji, Lin Feng felt a sense of accomplishment and satisfaction. Well, what he said was not a lie. He just don't have any courage to say that, however this time, as he was letting his heart do what it wants, and since he felt a little closer to Xiong Ji, he managed to say it. Besides, it worked. While Lin Feng felt good for his trick, Xiong Ji recovered from her initial shock. Then she smiled. Lin Feng is getting mischievous. Well, it's good that I felt closer to him. She then followed Lin Feng's car. After playing for a while in the bumped car, Xiong Ji invited Lin Feng to play at Land of the Dead. It was a shooting game. However, before they entered, Xiong Ji saw the silhouette of Song Xiantin. She quickly turned around and told Lin Feng that she liked to try the rides. So they did. They ride the roller coaster, the frisbee, the voyage, and the swing ride. Every ride was heart-shattering. All the people who rode with them were screaming, yelling, some even with tears. However, these 2 were silent. No one was yelling, nor screaming. Lin Feng looked at Xiong Ji. He enjoyed the ride, especially the cool air when they were suspended in the air. He was not afraid of height, but he was also human, so he could not help to be startled whenever there was sudden decrease. Drop. When he looked at Xiong Ji, he laughed. Xiong Ji's beautiful long hair was in a mess, her shirt was creased and so was her dress. Xiong Ji was dazed. It was her first time in those extreme rides. She was startled at first how those things like a spaceship turn them and throw them around. She did not yell or screamed. Because throughout the whole ride, her voice was trapped in her throat, and she don't have time to open her mouth. The ride was so how could she describe it? So new and unbelievable. That left her in daze. Hearing his muffled laugh, Xiong Ji's glassy eyes looked at Lin Feng. Lin Feng's eyes were like bright crescent moon. His complete white teeth was shown to her. Seeing his happy expression, Xiong Ji also smiled. However, this made him laugh more. He did not know why. nor think what is the reason. He just felt so warm and happy. He laughed for a minute before he tried to compose himself. He then stepped closer to Xiongji and fixed her hair. He combed the knotted hair with his hands. He then proceeded to straighten her shirt and dress. He kneeled down to tie the ribbon in her doll shoes. Then he stand up and check her if she have bruises. The ride was really extreme. After checking her, he looked at Xiongji and gave her a warm smile. "We're good to go now," Lin Feng said warmly. Xiongji was frozen in her spot. The moment Lin Feng fixed her hair, her heart stopped beating. And when he kneeled down to tie her shoes, her heart felt really incredible. Like it was full and warm. A very familiar feeling. This is the feeling that she really wanted to feel whenever she was with Lin Feng in the past. The feeling that she was confused about and couldn't figure out before. Now she knew that it is the feeling you have towards the man you wanted to trust your heart with. The man who you wanted to be your other half. Jie, are you not feeling well? Did you get dizzy? Lin Feng put his warm hand to Xiongji's cold forehead. However, when he put it, the coldness he felt was replaced by hot skin. Xiongji just recovered from her thoughts when Lin Feng put his hand on her. Her heart panicked and started running in incredible pace. Seeing his worried face, she could not help the heat spread from her heart towards her face. She quickly looked down to hide her red face and to calm her heart. Wow, this is really incredible that I felt like I'm sick but I'm not. Is this what Xiantin said? The proof of love. This is like where the girl on the movie felt in love with the male lead. She peeked at Lin Feng, then looked down. She hid her smile under her hands. It's really true. What I felt last lifetime and this lifetime to Lin Feng is really love. She put her hands to her warm cheeks. Wow, that really amazing that I'm like a balloon. Floating. That I really like this feeling. What's more, if Lin Feng gave me a flower. Or a gift. I wonder what will I feel. Can my heart could take it? Xiongji looked at Lin Feng with anticipation in her eyes and with a beautiful wide smile in her face. Lin Feng stared back at Xiongji, waiting for her response. Why she was looking at me like that? Is she blushing? Lin Feng withdrew his hand and put it on under his nose. Jia really look cute. He should stay his hand away from her to not be tempted to pinch her flushed cheeks. An awkward minute passed before they broke the silence. Let's go, they both said at the same time. Then they laughed. Chapter 42. Operation, Seducing Lin Feng. The date, 7, you are listening at novelfull.audio. A comfortable silence exists between the two of them. Xiongji was still holding Lin Feng's hand and had no plan to let go. Lin Feng was holding their stuff in his other hand. They were on their way towards the horror booth. Of course, this move was on Xiongji and Song Zuntin's planner. It was a simple plan. The girl will be afraid in the dark, ghosts, monster or whatever horror it was, and hug the man out of fear. She can then hug the boy all the way. And the protectiveness of the boy will come out and the girl needs to capture it. Capture his heart. A perfect plan. After paying the ticket and putting their stuff in the counter, they entered the booth. Inside the horror booth was a dark tunnel. The lights were far away from each other and was flickering. However, it was enough to let them see the bloody decorations and small gaps enough for a person to hide. Their walk was slow, accompanied by a creepy music. Suddenly a bloody man came out from the nearest small gap from them. He had a knife in his back. He blocked their way and cried, "Help! Help!" But the two just passed him. No one was even startled. In second gap, a girl with a long black hair covering her face and wearing a white bloody dress crawled out from the gap. She then reached out her pale bloody hands to touch them. She managed to caught Lin Feng's feet. She crawled and tried to stand up with her hands using Lin Feng as her stand. Xiongji narrowed her eyes as the ghost in bloody white hugged Linfeng's knees. She then lowered her body and struggled to pull away the girl from Linfeng. Xiongji glared at the ghost. Even she was a ghost, no touching Linfeng. Linfeng on the other hand was amused. He waited for Xiongji's screams and scared expression. But as usual she was quiet. He was startled a little of Xiongji's action. Is she protecting him? He liked the idea. He could not help but smile. However, Xiongji was having a dilemma. When she will be scared. She tried to be scared, but it's not scary. It's just dark with men in costumes. She thought it will be scary. Does it mean she have to act scared? Then she needs timing. She looked ahead. 2 meters away from them is a small gap. She readied herself to scream and yelped. When they were in front of the gap, a ruined bloody doll appeared suddenly. It had no eyes and it was singing with a mechanical voice. Xiongji looked at the abandoned doll and pitied it. She had no heart to be afraid of it. And screamed to it. It was even blind. How sad. The doll might be offended. Sorry. Doll. Xiongji suddenly screamed and hugged Linfeng's arm. Linfeng was startled at first because of her scream. Then he put his hands to her face to cover her eyes. And hugged her back. He wasn't even aware of what he was doing. Xiongji just enjoyed the warm embrace of Linfeng. They stayed like that for 2 minutes. After the creepy doll stopped singing, Linfeng led the way to get out of the tunnel. Xiongji was still clinging into his arm happily. The dark tunnel, the bloody wall, and the creepy music was like heaven to her. She felt like she was in the majestic place strolling with Linfeng. She did not mind the ghosts and the monsters that suddenly came out from the gap trying to scare them. She even smiled a little at them, and if she could she might probably greet them a good day. Oh. She is really in good mood. They were now at the last gap, and after that turn they knew they were nearing at the end of the tunnel. Suddenly, a bloody clown appeared wearing a horrendous big smile. Blood splattered in his ghastly face and colorful costume. He was carrying a knife. A soft, slow music accompanied him as he took a slow step towards them. They stopped abruptly. Xiongji felt Linfeng stiffened and his breathing stopped. Xiongji looked at the clown and she tried to bite past him when she felt that the man she was holding was not moving. She turned to look at Linfeng, who was still frozen on his spot. Linfeng stared blankly at the clown. His face was pale but looked normal. He was just cold. Linfeng. Are you okay? Xiongji tugged at Linfeng worriedly. The man was scaring her. Linfeng jolted awake and gulped. He looked to Xiongji and Xiongji felt that Linfeng's hold on her hand tightened. It's nothing. He swallowed again and took a step forward. However, the bloody clown blocked their way and smiled creepily. Linfeng stiffened once again. Xiongji could see how he was sweating so much. But his temperature was cold. Is he sick? Her cold hand touched Linfeng's slender neck to check his temperature. Linfeng was startled by the sudden cold feeling in his neck. He shivered and let out a gasp. He quickly backed away from that hand. However, due to his shock, he outbalanced and dragged Xiongji along. He fell in his butt and Xiongji landed in his lap. They looked at each other, wide-eyed, both hearts stopped beating. Linfeng. Xiongji. The clown practiced smile become stiff. How come the horror that he was waiting for was turned into a romance instead? A/N, didn't you read the tag? It's romance. R. Who you're talking to, *****, A/N, nothing. Just read like you always do. R. So mean that you started it. You just pop out. Get out now. It's their good time, Xiongji's face was very close to Lin Feng. Though there was not enough light to illuminate them, it still not hinder the two to observe closely each other's features. For the first time, in both past and present, Xiongji have a close look at Lin Feng. As close as 10 centimeters apart. She could see clearly how his dark orbs frozen with shocked, undescribable glint passed in his eyes, then recognition followed by embarrassment. She could see how his pale face transformed into darker shade. Probably red, since Xiongji could felt the sudden change of his temperature from cold to hot. Lin Feng coughed and apologized. I'm deeply sorry, young miss. I'm careless. Are you hurt? Xiongji was still sitting on Lin Feng's lap. She did not intend to stand up. Not after she found comfortable in her position. Besides, this was the first time she had close proximity with Lin Feng. She would not lose this chance. Also, Xiongji looked sharply at Lin Feng. This guy returned to call her young miss again. Sensing that Xiongji still not moving from his lap, he gently asked her. Did you receive shock, young miss? Why you are still not standing up? Yes. I did. I'm just calming myself. Let me just stay here for a while. Oh. Then let's get out of this tunnel to rest. We are near the exit anyway. Please stand up. I'm still shocked. Lin Feng smelled good. She even sniffed his neck in a very close proximity. A little closer. Like just 2 centimeters away. And she will be kissing his delicate neck. Lin Feng got goosebumps. His heart beat erratically. This had to be stopped. He then carried Xiongji from his lap to his arm. Giving a glare at the clown who stand on their way, the forgotten clown quickly back away and even bowed to their direction. He just stand up straight after the couple was gone. Ah! He thought he would have a good show. Lin Feng was nearing at the exit holding Xiongji in his arms. Xiongji did not complain or struggled out of Lin Feng's hold. She was enjoying it. She circled her arms around Lin Feng's neck. Oh! This day is her favorite day. Then she remembered how Lin Feng acted earlier. Lin Feng, are you scared of clowns? Xiongji blurted out her guest. Lin Feng stopped for a moment. Then he lowered his head trying to hide his face with a faint red of embarrassment. How could he answer that question? Isn't it a taboo for a man to admit their weakness in front of a girl? Especially if it's mere as clowns. When he was a child, he was exposed to dangerous things. Fights, weapons, bombs, everything that he need to learn to secure the safety of his masters. Then one day, a phycologist entered the training area. He would teach them how to fight hypnotism and also to find out their weakness. After many trials to determine his weakness, they already used height, knives, wild animals, insects, even ghosts and monstrous creatures. They haven't found his weakness or the thing he was afraid of. The truth is he was afraid a little, but did not show it. Until one trial, they locked him in a dark room, he saw a clown with bloody clothes holding a knife and murdering someone. He just found out later that it was a mannequin with red paint he was stabbing. But that time, as an 8-year-old child, to be with the same room with a heartless killer and witnessing a murder really scared him shitless and left him traumatized. But he was a trained child to not let his emotions resurface. Until the trial was done, he was silent. He did not even beg to let him out. He only endured silently. And he passed the trial with flying colors. A tug in his clothes brought him back to the present. Xiongji's brow were furrowed deeply. Being close with Lin Feng, she saw how his eyes changed from shame to loneliness and an emotion she could not decipher. She felt she touched a memory that Lin Feng did not want to remember. This brought a stab in her chest. There are many things she did not know about Lin Feng. What color does he like? What is his ultimate wish? Nothing, she knew nothing. Another stabbed. However, she was determined to know it all. Xiongji reached out her hand and touched Linfeng's cheek. Her hand was cold but her gaze was warm. I'm here. I'll always stay by your side. If I can, I'll promise to protect you. So what if you're afraid of clown? This not make you a less man, but more human instead. I did not hate it. I love it. So don't be ashamed. Xiongji said sincerely. Her soft voice was a melodious tone in Linfeng's ears. Her words brought an incredible warmth in his heart. Again, the feeling like he was full and suffocated resurfaced. His breathing hitched. Her cold hand was burning in his system. He stared at those starry eyes that was deep with emotions. For the first time, Linfeng boldly stared at Xiongji. Examining her features, memorizing every detail of her face. She was really beautiful. So beautiful that Linfeng wanted to keep her. To claim her. And be his. If he could. If only. Tink tink tink. The two was startled by the sound. I think our time here is done. Linfeng said instead. He wanted to say something earlier. He was relieved he did not say it, but at the same time he also felt lost. Like he lose a chance. N. Xiongji's only reply. They existed the tunnel. Xiongji was put down and they get their stuff. Chapter 43. Operation, Seducing Linfeng. The date, 8, you are listening at novelfull.audio. They came in the horror booth before the sun was setting. Now, the sun already settled. Street lights of every booth and stall lighted up the surrounding. There are still many people and looked like the night would be a long day. It's 7 p.m. Do you want to go home now? Linfeng asked. Xiongji shook her head. Let's eat first, then let's go to the Ferris wheel. They ate until they were full and they went to the long line. After 1 hour of waiting. Finally, it was their turn. Sitting together inside the Ferris wheel, Xiongji's mind was racing. This move, again, was of course, in Song Xiantin's suggestion. Song Xiantin said, since we are in the amuse.em.e.nt park, don't forget to ride in Ferris wheel. That is the wheel of fate. If you watch romance movies, dramas, and read novels and manga, that is where the part the two leads confess to each other, and if you're lucky you'll get a kiss. Kaya. And Xiantin was immersed in her own world. Xiongji let out a breath and peeked at Linfeng. Linfeng was looking outside down the city lights. He was silent with his own thoughts. Does he look like a man who were to confess his love towards her? Xiongji cringed at that thought. Interacting with Linfeng today, she knew well that the man was heavily guarded and it would take time for him to grow his feelings for her. But she hoped that the seed she planted today is a good, strong, and unbreakable seed. She need to take care of it. So for now, let's not water it too much. A/N, she mean here to not attack on full force like confessing at Linfeng. Xiongji inched closer to Linfeng. She watched the beautiful street lights. They were like stars with different colors against the dark sky. She looked up, the night was clear and stars were glowing brightly. A beautiful sight. She could not help but ask. What is more beautiful? The sight below or the scenery above? Linfeng turned to Xiongji. Seeing she was looking above, he also glanced up and stared at the sea of stars. Beautiful. He muttered. Xiongji turned away her gaze and looked at him. Linfeng's eyes reflected the lights of the stars in his eyes. His upper chin and slender neck was exposed, the lights from the Ferris wheel illuminated him. He was like a prince wishing at the wishing star. Beautiful indeed. Xiongji muttered. Then she asked again. What did you prefer? Linfeng turned to her. And really thought hard about it. Of course I like the natural things above, no one's could match how beautiful it is, he said glancing up the stars again. Then he looked down at the city lights who were remarkably beautiful as well. But if every city lights below was created by your hands, seeing how they shimmered brightly against the dark night, is it more beautiful than those stars? When you glance up, he glanced up towards the sky. You want to reach those stars, things that were unreachable, somehow, when you realize they are things that you can never reach, you will be disappointed, helpless, and defeated. But if you look down, he glanced down again. And see the things you've created shone brightly, does it make you feel satisfaction, achievement and proud of yourself? A happiness will be sprouted in me whenever I think those. He said truthfully, not realizing he was exposing a part of himself. Xiongji's eyes emitted loneliness at first but it quickly passed. She knew so well how much Lin Feng wanted to fly high, to find himself with no shackles on. And she will support him. She was just a bit sad because first, he did not do it in the past, second, in order to do it, he need to stay distant to her, the source of those shackles. After her mind done with its calculation, her eyes were now filled with unwavering determination. Her eyes sparkled brightly than the stars. She looked at the city lights below and said, I understand how you feel. If these city lights was created by you, I'll happily watch it every night. If I can, I'll help you to build more and never lose it light. Just then she turned to Lin Feng. Lin Feng was also looking at her, staring at her sparkling eyes while waiting for her words. Just don't stay away from me. Lin Feng's heart beat erratically. He could even hear his own heartbeat. He wanted to ask why. Why spending so much effort to me? Why will you help me? Don't you understand you're going to be hurt? I'm your aide. I should be nothing in your eyes. Why spend this day with me? Why my heart felt so full yet pained? Why this heart so disobedient? He looked away. He did not want Xiongji to see his wavering eyes. His confused gaze. He knew well, he could not promise that there will come to a time where he will leave the Xiong and battle them for his rights and freedom. Eventually, he will hurt the girl. Thinking of the future that may happen, his heart was squeezing. Like it was rebelling to him. This the reason why he did not want to be with her today. She is a great distraction. A big hole in the road that if he was not looking carefully he might fall. Now, he was falling. But no. There are still many things that he have to do. This is just infatuation. Indeed, infatuation. It will be gone as time pass. He composed himself and reminded this to him. He looked at Xiongji and smiled. Thank you. I appreciate it. He said, not promising anything. Xiongji's eyes dimmed a bit. However, it was quickly gone, her eyes shone brightly again. No matter. It is only day 1. Part 1. There are still many chances to come. She smiled brightly. I'm saying it seriously. And it will stand in the future. Her smile was so dazzling that Lin Feng could not take it. His heart was betraying him again. Big thump. Big thump. Big thump. Big thump. Shut up, heartbeat. Ding, saved by the bell. The Ferris wheel stopped and the door opened. The stuff gestured them to come out. Lin Feng breathed heavily, he was so relieved. He did not know what to say at that time. They went out. Xiongji held Lin Feng's hands again. It was only a natural thing today since they were holding hands for the whole day. But this time, Lin Feng felt it was different. There is an electric current coming from her. His mind was kept thinking of their intertwined hands. He could not help but glance at it again and again to find out what was different. He just felt so aware. Then he glanced up at Xiongji's flawless face. Sensing a gaze at her, she returned his stare with a dazzling smile. And once again, his heart beat rapidly. Oh. Could he survive the remaining days? Chapter 44. Coming, 2, you are listening at Novel Full. Audio. From what she remembered in her last previous life, DV project became very big after 4 years. So she really did not mind that they lost the project. The other project she gave to Fong Dayin would appear its usefulness for almost 1.3 years. She only wanted it, DV project, because it would become a huge part of the Jingduo, ZD, all.in. project. An international project that gave a headache to that beast. In other words, the ZD all.in. project could rival and could give a huge blow to that beast company. But of course, if she could take her hands on it and make another ZD project, she would do everything to take down the beast's company. And she was confident she could do it. But seems like the company behind the ZD all.in. project was prepared and already planning to have a project internationally. SC Company. She heard about this company before. But only heard. Never once they revealed themselves to media. Only the PR were appearing in the news whenever the media would publicize their accomplishments in overseas. She remembered that this company competed against that beast company. In other words, all projects the beast wanted to invest and expand would be taken away by SC Company. These really made that beast mad. So for that favor last lifetime she would not fight for the other projects that involved ZD all.in. project. In the future, she might collaborate with them. Don't fret over it. Whenever you face this SC Company, don't fight them. N. Fong Dayin replied. What about the resto? Xiongji asked. That restaurant would take a lot of time to re-innovate and make it known. Yes, I'll be visiting them tomorrow. Good. Xiongji said to Fong Dayin that he needed to take action personally when it comes to resto. Even though he did not understand the reason behind it, the boss was the one who would make the order, so he would follow. Right at this moment, a knock came. Fong Dayin said to come in, and a young man walks in. Sir, there is a woman. He stopped for a moment when he saw Xiongji. What a pretty girl. Is she our boss's younger sister? He stared at the two beautiful people for a while, but he did not manage to see their similarities. Hence, he concluded that the other one looked like his father, the other one looked like her mother. What is it? Fong Dayin's question woke up the young man from his daze. Oh. Pardon me. There is a woman named Xiao Mei. She said she had an appointment with the boss. Should I let her in? Fong Dayin looked questionably to Xiongji. Let her come in. Xiongji said. The young man looks at her dumbly for a while. Is she only a younger sister of our boss? To order like that? Do what she says. Fong Dayin said. He knew what his employee was thinking. It was written all over his face. Why? Yes, sir. Then the employee went out and guided Xiao Mei to the office. Xiao Mei walks into the office. Xiongji was stunned for a moment before she broke into a small smile and greeted Xiao Mei. Nice haircut. Xiongji said. Eyeing the shoulder-length hair of Xiao Mei. Xiao Mei cut her long hair the moment she was freed from the prison. It was a remembrance of her suffering from the prison, her naive thinking, and how the world truly works. She would not be the same timid Xiao Mei before. As she entered this business industry with people she chooses to trust, she would not be a merciful person to her enemy. This world would eat from the weak and the strong people would always win. And she chooses to become the latter. She smiled at Xiongji. Thank you so much for helping me and my grandmother. My grandmother heard about it. And she asked me that if you have time you can visit her. And she will thank you personally. I will. Maybe one of these days. Xiao Mei and Xiongji sat and Xiongji introduced her CEO to the vice director. After introducing and telling her plan for future projects, Xiongji left them to let themselves be familiar with each other. They needed to bond as the company would flourish more. Underscore 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 Xiongji arrived at Xiong Mansion when the sun was about to set. She did not expect that she would talk to them longer than she imagined. Talking to people was not that bad after all. You talk purely about business. When she arrived, a butler came to her and said that old Xiong would have dinner with her. It was not usual for old Xiong to dine with her. Usually, she dines alone. Sometimes the old man would order her to eat with him. And an announcement would happen next. Like last time when the old man had breakfast with her to announce Lin Feng's existence. What will be his announcement this time? When the clock hit 7, Xiongji was already sitting in her usual place. Her hands were placed on top of her lap. She was a bit nervous. It is not about that beast, right? Our marriage arrangement. Xiongji shook her head inwardly. No. The old man already makes a promise to me. What will be this time? When Xiongji saw old Xiong coming with Mr. Zhou following behind, she calmed herself. She stands up and said her usual line. Good evening, grandfather, how are you today? Good. Then old Xiong sat at the lone chair. Food started coming and after waiting they began to eat. In the middle of their eating, old Xiong began to speak. Are you coming this Friday? Xiongji stopped her movement and recalled what's with this Friday. Then she remembered it was the Xiong Empire 325th anniversary. She remembered that last lifetime she did not attend this year nor the upcoming years. Simply because she did not care. Now that would she come? Xiongji was still thinking when old Xiong brought news again. Your third uncle and your cousin will also come. They will arrive this Thursday. That made Xiongji blank for a moment. Then a small smile made its way to her lips. I'll come, grandfather. Good. It is a good opportunity for you to socialize and expand your business. I'll expect you then. Xiongji said and began to eat in silence. However, in her mind flashbacks of schemes of her third uncle and cousin appeared. Those two were the mastermind why she lost her inheritance and ended up in that beast's hands. Their first move was taken at Xiong Empire anniversary. Naturally, she, a reborn woman, would also take the first step of her revenge on that day. As she thought of this, her grip at the knife that was slicing a piece of delicate meat was tightened and every chop executes a restrained strength. Oh! She could not wait to meet them. Chapter 44. Coming. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After the ride from Ferris wheel, Xiongji brought Lin Feng to the photo booth. The last step. Song Xiantin said to not lose this chance to take a picture. If things went bad in the future, they could use this as a backup plan. How? Xiongji doesn't know. After taking a picture together in the photo booth, they went to the souvenir store. Xiongji was looking at the souvenirs. She went to the key chain area where Lin Feng's was. Lin Feng also wanted to buy a key chain. Xiongji was debating herself which was good, the one to her right, or the left. Until she saw encounter a key chain with a different design that could be customized. Her eyes brightened and she glances at Lin Feng who was checking a key chain design from a Ferris wheel. Xiongji walked towards the counter and pointed at the key chain that attracted her attention. After giving instructions to the staff, in just a few minutes, they give it to her and she paid. Lin Feng also paid for his key chain. Lin Feng called Mr. Ji. After 20 minutes he came and they all left. Half an hour passed and they arrived at Xiong Mansion. Lin Feng came out first and opened the door for Xiongji. Xiongji came out and Lin Feng followed her until they came at the bottom of the stairs. The usual spot where Lin Feng waited for Xiongji. Xiongji stared at Lin Feng. She wanted to say something but in the end, she just sighed and said instead. Can I see your keychain? Lin Feng was startled at her question but still reached for his keychain and held it out. Xiong Ji stared at it. It was 10 centimeters long and 5 centimeters wide. The same size of her keychain but hers was a little wider. Then she touched it, felt it on her hands. She reached out for her own keychain. Lin Feng looked at it but Xiong Ji's hand was blocking everything, holding the keychain tightly. Xiong Ji turned her back, and then she turned around again to face Lin Feng. She put the keychain in Lin Feng's hands and she closed it. Thanks for today. I'm really glad you accompany me. This day is unforgettable and will be one of my precious memories. I hope we can create more of this in the future. Then she let out an embarrassing smile and ran upstairs. Lin Feng was a little startled at her actions. But then he smiled. He looked at his hand that was still closed by Xiong Ji. He was about to put it in his pocket when he felt that the keychain was a little different. Like it became wider. He took it out to study it. And when he saw it, his face became red. This. But he recovered soon and put it in his pocket. His young miss probably mistaken and she thought she put what was his. Well, he will just return it tomorrow. But on the way, he could not help to took it out again and examined it. Tracing his name and her name, he smiled bashfully. Today is really unforgettable. Underscore 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 underscore. The next day was refreshing and Xiong Ji wanted to check the company. Since it was Sunday, there was no Lin Feng. But it did not falter her good mood. On her way, she received a text from Xiao Mei that her grandmother already undergoes surgery and now recovering. Xiao Mei said that they could talk about the contract today. Xiong Ji replied to Xiao Mei the address of IHCHI and told her to meet there. After an hour's drive, she arrived at the small office of IHCHI. The guard greets her and Xiong Ji nodded. Arriving at her office, the emptiness was gone and was replaced by young workers. There were at least 12 of them who were busying themselves in front of the computer, some were on the telephone, the others were studying the papers. Xiong Ji's good mood brightened more seeing the enthusiastic people. The employees were busy that they did not notice her arrival. Xiong Ji went directly to one of the exclusive offices. She knocked and entered. Of course, we will send over to you the papers as soon as possible. Thank you for trusting us. Yes. Thank you once again. Fang Dayin put down the phone and walked towards Xiong Ji. He bowed and greeted, "Good day, Ms." Xiong Ji cut him by raising her hand. No need for formalities. I'll speak to you directly, and you also do that for me. Fang Dayin just nodded and offered his seat to Xiong Ji. But Xiong Ji ignored him and sat in the guest seat. She once mentioned it before. Fang Dayin was IHCHI's CEO. Fang Dayin sat again in his chair and began reporting. Out of 15 projects from different companies you told me to invest. We secured 5. It went smoothly. 3 were in contact, and the 2 companies will give their answers tomorrow. Fang Dayin said while handing some documents to Xiong Ji. Xiong Ji was skimming it while listening. We haven't contacted the other 3 projects. But by Tuesday we will visit them. Xiong Ji just nodded urging Fang Dayin to continue. And the other 2 that were rejected. Xiong Ji quickly looked up at Fang Dayin waiting for an explanation. The DV project was contacted earlier than us by Xingxiyuan, SC, company. And they already signed a contract the moment we arrived. Xiong Ji raised her brow. And the other one that was also signed by SC company. How did we lose to the other one? Xiong Ji asked. By auction. SC contacted them first, after a day we contacted them. Then they let us compete with SC. However, SC was stubborn. They gave a very low interest. While the least I could give was 10%. So I give up the project. Xiongji contemplated for a moment. After a while she said. You did a good choice. Chapter 45. Coming, 2, you are listening at novelfull.audio. From what she remembered in her last previous life. DV project became very big after 4 years. So she really did not mind that they lost the project. The other project she gave to Fang Dayin would appear its usefulness for almost 1.3 years. She only wanted it, DV project, because it would become a huge part of the Jingduo, ZD, all.in. project. An international project that gave a headache to that beast. In other words, the ZD all.in. project could rival and could give a huge blow to that beast company. But of course, if she could take her hands on it and make another ZD project, she would do everything to take down the beast's company. And she was confident she could do it. But seems like the company behind the ZD all.in. project was prepared and already planning to have a project internationally. SC Company. She heard about this company before. But only heard. Never once they revealed themselves to media. Only the PR were appearing in the news whenever the media would publicize their accomplishments in overseas. She remembered that this company competed against that beast company. In other words, all projects the beast wanted to invest and expand would be taken away by SC Company. These really made that beast mad. So for that favor last lifetime she would not fight for the other projects that involved ZD all.in. project. In the future, she might collaborate with them. Don't fret over it. Whenever you face this SC company, don't fight them. N. Fang Dayin replied. What about the resto? Xiongji asked. That restaurant would take a lot of time to re-innovate and make it known. Yes, I'll be visiting them tomorrow. Good. Xiongji said to Fang Dayin that he needed to take action personally when it comes to resto. Even though he did not understand the reason behind it, the boss was the one who would make the order, so he would follow. Right at this moment, a knock came. Fang Dayin said to come in and a young man walks in. Sir, there is a woman. He stopped for a moment when he saw Xiongji. What a pretty girl. Is she our boss's younger sister? He stared at the two beautiful people for a while, but he did not manage to see their similarities. Hence, he concluded that the other one looked like his father, the other one looked like her mother. What is it? Fang Dayin's question woke up the young man from his daze. Oh. Pardon me. There is a woman named Xiao Mei. She said she had an appointment with the boss. Should I let her in? Fang Dayin looked questionably to Xiongji. Let her come in. Xiongji said. The young man looks at her dumbly for a while. Is she only a younger sister of our boss? To order like that? Do what she says. Fang Dayin said. He knew what his employee was thinking. It was written all over his face. Why? Yes, sir. Then the employee went out and guided Xiao Mei to the office. Xiao Mei walks into the office. Xiongji was stunned for a moment before she broke into a small smile and greeted Xiao Mei. Nice haircut. Xiongji said. Eyeing the shoulder-length hair of Xiao Mei. Xiao Mei cut her long hair the moment she was freed from the prison. It was a remembrance of her suffering from the prison, her naive thinking, and how the world truly works. She would not be the same timid Xiao Mei before. As she entered this business industry with people she chooses to trust, she would not be a merciful person to her enemy. This world would eat from the weak and the strong people would always win. And she chooses to become the latter. She smiled at Xiongji. Thank you so much for helping me and my grandmother. My grandmother heard about it. And she asked me that if you have time you can visit her. And she will thank you personally. I will. Maybe one of these days. Xiao Mei and Xiongji sat and Xiongji introduced her CEO to the vice director. After introducing and telling her plan for future projects, Xiongji left them to let themselves be familiar with each other. They needed to bond as the company would flourish more. Underscore 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 Xiongji arrived at Xiong Mansion when the sun was about to set. She did not expect that she would talk to them longer than she imagined. Talking to people was not that bad after all. You talk purely about business. When she arrived, a butler came to her and said that old Xiong would have dinner with her. It was not usual for old Xiong to dine with her. Usually, she dines alone. Sometimes the old man would order her to eat with him. And an announcement would happen next. Like last time when the old man had breakfast with her to announce Linfeng's existence. What will be his announcement this time? When the clock hit 7, Xiongji was already sitting in her usual place. Her hands were placed on top of her lap. She was a bit nervous. It is not about that beast, right? Our marriage arrangement. Xiongji shook her head inwardly. No. The old man already makes a promise to me. What will be this time? When Xiongji saw old Xiong coming with Mr. Zhou following behind, she calmed herself. She stands up and said her usual line. Good evening, grandfather, how are you today? Good. Then old Xiong sat at the lone chair. Food started coming and after waiting they began to eat. In the middle of their eating, old Xiong began to speak. Are you coming this Friday? Xiongji stopped her movement and recalled what's with this Friday. Then she remembered it was the Xiong Empire 325th anniversary. She remembered that last lifetime she did not attend this year nor the upcoming years. Simply because she did not care. Now that would she come? Xiongji was still thinking when old Xiong brought news again. Your third uncle and your cousin will also come. They will arrive this Thursday. That made Xiongji blank for a moment. Then a small smile made its way to her lips. I'll come, grandfather. Good. It is a good opportunity for you to socialize and expand your business. I'll expect you then. Xiongji said and began to eat in silence. However, in her mind flashbacks of schemes of her third uncle and cousin appeared. Those two were the mastermind why she lost her inheritance and ended up in that beast's hands. Their first move was taken at Xiong Empire anniversary. Naturally, she, a reborn woman, would also take the first step of her revenge on that day. As she thought of this, her grip at the knife that was slicing a piece of delicate meat was tightened and every chop executes a restrained strength. Oh! She could not wait to meet them. Chapter 46. Operation 1. After Effects. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The next day was a usual day for Xiongji. Taking her time to walk downstairs, staring boldly at Linfeng, and her usual ride to her school. However, for a certain someone, it was different. Linfeng was waiting for a chance to mention to Xiongji that the key chain was switched. Initially, he thought Xiongji would speak first about it to him. However, throughout the ride, she did not speak. He had no choice but to speak of it first. Inside the car, Linfeng was about to open his mouth when his gaze landed at the driver. From time to time, the driver would check them through the review mirror. It was a habit of them since they were trained before they got hired as Xiong's descendant driver. They had to be vigilant in case something happened. Hence the driver could not help but glance at them from time to time. However, this made Linfeng back out for a moment. What if the driver saw the key chain he was giving to Xiongji? He might misunderstand. Especially that keychain has an ambiguous design with their names on it. The driver might think he had some romantic relationship with their young miss. Giving such a thing to their young miss. So he had no choice but to wait for another chance. When they alone, when no one could see it. Xiongji, on the side, who was aware of his every move, naturally saw how Lin Feng wanted to say something but abruptly stop. What is it? Xiong Ji directly looked at Lin Feng and asked him. Lin Feng swallowed the imaginary lump in his throat before he replied. Nothing. But Xiong Ji saw that Lin Feng was putting something in his pocket. Xiong Ji understands what Lin Feng wanted to do. When they arrived at THS, Lin Feng was looking for a chance to give it to Xiong Ji. They were now alone and walking towards the juniors' building. X. Xiong Ji. Xiong Ji swiftly turns. Did I hear it clearly? He called my name. MS. Xiong Ji. Lin Feng quickly corrected himself. Since that day, he found out it was more comfortable to call Xiong Ji with her name rather than young miss or Ms. What is it? Xiong Ji said with a small smile. She was in a good mood since Lin Feng called her name for the first time without force. This. Lin Feng said while reaching out from his pocket. I like the Ferris wheel keychain. Can I keep it? Xiong Ji said immediately. You can. Lin Feng said confused. He had no choice if Xiong Ji wanted it. But how about the other? Thank you. In exchange you keep mine. Then she quickly enters the building in case Lin Feng recovered his wits. Underscore 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 underscore. As Xiong Ji entered the room, she was in a good mood. From a distance, she saw Song Xiantin beside her place. Xiong Ji was ready to wave back when no enthusiastic wave came to her. Xiantin was sulking in her chair and she seemed like in deep thought. What happened? It was very unusual for Xiantin to act like that. Walking to her place, Xiong Ji observed Xiantin. Xiantin sighed and then furrowed her brows. Then she would shake her head. What happened? Xiantin squeaked but then calmed down. Geez. Xiong Ji. Don't startle me like that. Xiong Ji just sat in her place and tilted her head. For the first time, Xiong Ji was willing to lend her ear genuinely to Xiantin. Well, if not for Xiantin, Xiong Ji would not have that unforgettable memory in that amuse.em.e.nt park. Thinking about this, Xiong Ji becomes more courageous to endure Song Zuntin's unending talk. However, contrary to her expectation, Xiantin just said one word. Failed. Silence remained between them. Xiantin was in no mood to tell the details of her failed mission. She was suffering from the blow until now. While Xiong Ji did not know what to say. How to comfort someone. She did not know. Maybe silence was the best answer. Lunch came and Zuntin's heart was so heavy that she just remained in her place. Xiong Ji was about to leave her, however, Xiong Ji's conscience was telling her to be a good friend. She owned Xiantin so much. Without her, Lin Feng might not call her name until now. Xiong Ji sighed and got back to her seat. Xiantin. She nudges Xiantin, who was still sulking. But Xiantin did not bother. For her, it was like the end of the world. Gu Zhen. Throughout that day Gu Zhen did not even glance at her. Was those computers was attractive than her? Could they smile so lovingly like her? See their body. So dull. Xiantin had curves. Why Gu Zhen was so blind? Could she really win against those S.L.U.T.T.Y computers? Xiantin, don't give up now. You said love has a long way to go. It was only Operation 1. You have still many chances in the future. Did I say the right words? Xiong Ji said sincerely. Xiantin looked at her. But still sat unmovingly. However, her eyes were now sparkled with courage. Common. It's lunch. Let's use this chance. Let's eat with Guzhen. I know you have many tricks left right. Xiantin nodded enthusiastically. Don't worry, you claimed yourself as my friend. So I will help you. Since you helped me. Xiantin stands up. Yeah. With your help, I can get closer to him. Of course, I will not give up. I have been in love with him since I was 7. What a mere day. I can endure even 10 years. Xiantin said, placing her fist on her chest. Good. Let's go now. So the two of them exited in the classroom. Underscore 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 in the cafeteria, Guzhen was typing non-stop. He then grabbed a juice to drink while his other hand was still typing. At that moment, two huge shadows hovering above him. Subconsciously he looked up. Two pretty girls were looking at him. If it was another guy they might swoon right now. However, Guzhen just nods and ignores them. This brought a stab to Zuantin's heart. But no. She must endure. Xiongji just sat across from him and pulled Xiantin to sit beside her. Xiantin followed obediently like a bunny. And they ate in silence. Dot. 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 Xiongji could not help but nudge at Xiantin, signaling at her to make her move. If this continues, the bell might ring. I.Guzhen.D.Do you want more juice? Dot. Xiongji, juice. What kind of move is that? Why? Do you have more? Guzhen said, then gulped the last drop of his juice. I'm going to buy. I am thirsty. So to save time I will also buy yours. I'm just going to the counter anyway, hehe, and then Xiantin quickly ran to the counter. Dot. Xiongji Guzhen looked at the running figure of Xiantin before going back to his typing. But the corner of his lips was slightly curved. Xiongji, who was observing at the side, of course, noticed this. Is he smiling? What's that, a smile? Come to think of it, this guy never smile even we were alone. Can't believe this move is effective. Maybe I should try sometimes. RR. Oh, poor Linfenji. Be prepared, asterisk 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 asterisk, A/N. Why are you popping suddenly? RR. Why? Are you the only one who had a privilege to pop up, asterisk 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 asterisk, A/N? In the counter, Song Xiantin accepted the two juice in her hands. Stalking Guzhen for 9 years, she knew what he likes and dislikes. Apple flavor for him and orange for her. She was about to go back when she saw a junior student writing something on the carton of juice. Fighting. The girl keeps the juice and then gave it to some guy in her table. Then the guy smiled at the girl. Song Xiantin then looked at the juice's carton. She was drinking this juice since the first day but never noticed that in the corner was like a blank whiteboard design on it. On top it was written. Convey your message. Then her eyes lit up. She borrowed a pen from the counter, wrote and draw something on it. She went back to their table and handed the apple juice to Guzhen. Guzhen just mattered, thanks, and drank from it. However, throughout the lunch, he seemed to not notice Zuantin's message on the carton juice. This brought another stab to Xiantin. But who cares? Did she not suffer for many stabs for all those years? Even he did not notice it, it did not matter. She could try again. The bell rang and all of them prepared to go. Xiantin and Xiongji went ahead first. But before they turned to the corner, Xiongji saw Guzhen in front of the trash bin studying the carton of juice in his hand. Chapter 47. Coming, 3, you are listening at novelfull.audio. At the same time, at the entrance of Shenyang International Airport, a group of black-suited men lined up waiting for something. Then a middle-aged man in his 40s and a pretty teenage walk out from the entrance. The men instantly bowed and greeted in unison. Welcome back, Third Master and Miss Xiong Wuyue. This attracted a lot of people. Suddenly flashes of cameras and journalists surrounded them. The group of men blocked them while leading the two important figures to the limousine. After the two figures seated in the car, the men went to their own cars and followed the limousine. All in all, 15 cars surrounded the limo. The pretty girl took off her sunglasses and smiled sweetly to his father. Father, did you call the media? Who do you think it is other than me? We need a grandiose entrance and attract a lot of people. Let them know that the future heir of Xiong Empire is in China. Of course, father, we deserve the most extravagant service China can give. Xiong Wuyue smirked. Then she looked at her father with anticipation. Can we stay at Xiong Mansion? Third Master, Xiong De, shook his head. BDNVL.M, you know the rules. The descendants can only stay at the Xiong Mansion. If you want to go, you can visit, but we can only stay at Xiong Ci, second, mansion in L City. Xiong Wuyue pouted. Why? Those damn rules. I contributed a lot this year to the Xiong business. I'm the model of Xiong dress, in Paris. Without me, the Xiong Corp could not secure that deal, humph. Xiong Wuyue burst out. She was displeased. She works hard for her image and become the youngest international model at the age of 17. She even dated that French old pervert to secure that deal. Yet the old man Xiong did not even budge when she called and hinted that she wanted to stay at Xiong Mansion. That old Xiong was like a hard rock. Not easy to please. Not easy to move. She really wanted to stay at Xiong Mansion ever since she was young. That mansion was very luxurious. Those people who could sleep at Xiong Mansion were all heirs and first descendant. Even nobles from another country or president could not force to sleep in that majestic mansion. She gritted her teeth. She grows up in Xiong Ci Mansion in L City, 3 cities away from the imperial city. Even the Xiong Ci Mansion was big and beautiful estate. It could not compare how dazzling the main mansion in the imperial city. Whenever she visited Xiong Mansion her eyes sparkled and she vowed to herself that one day she would live there. Besides that man will live there. Why? Why I was not born as a first descendant? I am more capable. I deserve it. Wuyue, don't worry, in the future, we can stay and live there as long as we want. His father comforted her. But for now, don't visit Xiong Mansion, let's appear first in the anniversary banquet. I'll visit uncle first. You, prepare for connections and learn who you will approach that day. And don't forget to get closer to your cousin, Xiong Ji. As if she will come, Wuyue said in disdain. She already investigated that girl. Since she left China 7 years ago, her father paid someone to have a close eye in Xiong Ji. Who were her friends, contacts, what event she appears, etc. But all these years, that girl never left the mansion. She even had no friends. However, this recent year, old Xiong let her attend school. But until this time, the girl did not enter the social circle. Oh, she heard once that she went out with a celebrity's child and the general's nerd. But those two pose no threat to her. What could a mere celebrity and military family do against them, a Xiong? They were dogs to her. No worry, father. I'll get cousin's trust. Leave her to me. She is not even deserving of my time. Really incompetent. Wuyue is really my lucky star. Xiong De smiled proudly. Suddenly he remembered something. Oh, I almost forgot to tell you. An important figure will come. You need to leave them a good impression and establish a connection. Xiong Wuyue furrowed her pretty brows. She already investigated who were the important people that would come and discussed it with her father. Did they forget someone very important? I just heard this news from a friend yesterday. His father explained. Oh. Who are they that can make us Xiong extend an invitation on the last hour? Xiong Wuyue was a little bewildered. Usually, an invitation from the Xiong family would appear a month before the event. This was to make the people who were invited to prepare more for the said event. Because an event from a Xiong family was very big, and broadcast internationally. Not only that, only almighty, legendary figures and wealthiest family could attend the banquet hosted by Xiong. That's how powerful their family was. Oh. Of course, who else? It is the Guan family. That old Guan and his youngest grandson will attend. Chapter 48. Xiong family. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xiong family nth generation, 3 sons, 1. Old Xiong, Xiong Wakai, 66 YRS/first descendant/Asia own 80% shares of Xiong Empire. Sons and daughters. 1 son. Died at 15. 1 daughter. Xiong Hui died at 32, XZ's mother, no L.N. grandchildren. Xiong Ji 2. Xiong Min/64 YRS/North America 15% sons. First son. Xiong Bailan/Kanda 5%, sons, Xiong M/20. B. Xiong Fan/21 second son. Xiong Kai/Europe 2%, daughters, A. Xiong Gaiyu/19. B. Xiong Hyo/18 third son. Xiong De/United States 8%, daughter, Xiong Wuyue/17 3. Xiong Guan/South America 5%, dead, sons and daughters. First son and second son. Dead third son. Xiong Li/Brazil 4%, son, Xiong Pei/23. Daughter, Xiong Qin/24th son. Xiong Nguyen Zai/Europe/painter and artist/ 0%. Son, Xiong Ryu/8 YRS. 1 daughter/youngest. Xiong Mai/Europe/Brazil/ 1%, no child, Wu Yuao, dead. XZ's father. A lower reputation than the Xiong but also a wealth family. Family of businessmen and other professions. Her father was married to Xiong family, that's why her last name was still Xiong. The sounds of the zither swallowed the little chatters, soft giggles, and pleasantries in the big pavilion. Instead of chandeliers, red big lanterns were hanging in the golden ceiling. Every corner of the big pavilion was filled with expensive incense, filling the surrounding a pleasant and fragrant smell. The big and wide pavilion was surrounded by different kinds of flowers and bamboo leaves. It was said that the old Xiong liked bamboo leaves. The luxurious pavilion was connected to the path to a garden. A small lake with 5 feet deep and a bridge across it. Under the moonlight, the lake reflected the stars and the moon on it, adding a majestic aura of the place. This place was very expensive, that only people like the Xiong family could rent it. Minutes that spent here was equal to millions. However, it was worth it. This was one of the reasons why many people wanted to be invited to the Xiong Empire's banquet. Aside from having connections, their reason also was to step inside in this expensive pavilion, a once-in-a-lifetime experience. The guests did not exceed 100. But with the musicians, waiters, staff, and dancers, the number of people in the pavilion would be an amount of more than 300. The people were wearing expensive ancient clothes according to the theme. The sounds of chattering became livelier as time passed. Then there was a commotion at the entrance. In the pathway, Xiong Bailan, the first master of Xiong Ci, second, mansion and his 2 sons were walking towards the pavilion. The moment they stepped foot in the pavilion, the guests flocked to them and sang praises. Xiong Bailan was satisfied with the attention the rich people gave him. Even though he only managed the business in Canada, he still holds a big amount of power since he was managing the 5% of Xiong Empire. His 2 sons were the same. They had been leaving in Canada and they did not have that kind of popularity than here in China. They even saw a lot of big shots here who wanted to talk to them. This was the power of being a Xiong. No matter what branches they were, from Xiong Ci Mansion or from Xiong Bing Deng, third mansion, they were revered. A/N, to make it clear, the nth generation has 3 sons. Old Xiong, Xiong Wakai, was given the title of the first descendant. It means that he was the heir, and his future sons will be the heir also, hence he was given the Xiong Mansion, Main. The second son was Xiong Bailan, who was given Xiong Ci, second mansion. The third son was Xiong Guen, who was given the Xiong Bing Deng Mansion, third. Then moments later, the second master of Xiong Ci Mansion, Xiong Kai, with his 2 daughters appeared. Xiong Kai was stationed in Europe, managing 2% of the empire. He was doing good in Europe and the business there was still expanding. Hence, when they came, the attention was torn into half. The most businessmen from Europe came to greet Xiong Kai. This made Xiong Bailan a little sour. After a minute, a guest whisper yelled. Someone from the third mansion came. True to his words, Xiong Li, the first master of Xiong Bing Deng Mansion, with his son and daughter appeared. Xiong Li was assigned from South America. He only managed 4% of the empire, but his progress of expanding, promoting and collaboration with other big companies within South America made him famous. Over the past year since he was handed the business there, the income growth increased and still increasing. Among the masters appeared, he showed the greatest potential. So a lot of people, especially those who were expanding their business in South America, surrounded. Then a few moments later someone shouted. Xiong Mai came. People including the Xiong looked at the entrance and found a beautiful and splendid woman. She really looked like a goddess in her kapao, and a lot of men surrounded her. Xiong Mai's relation to Xiong was a little distant. She appeared rarely in any Xiong's event. So her appearance here was a pleasant surprise. Nevertheless, people wanted to meet this mysterious beauty. She only managed 1% of the empire in North America. But her business there was doing good. She doesn't have a husband yet, that's why men flock to her. While the people were chattering and sucking up with every member of Xiong. From the entrance, a man appeared wearing a green robe and straw hat. Some people noticed him and recognized him but did not give him any welcome. Xiong Nuanzai did not pay them any heed. He was the 4th master of Xiong Bing Deng Mansion. He had the least reputation since he did not manage any business from the Xiong Empire. It was rumored that he was supposed to handle some business in Austria, but he declined. He insisted on becoming a painter and an artist in Europe. He never appeared in any Xiong's occasions. So those people who noticed were very surprised. But they did not voice out their opinions. After a while, a commotion louder than earlier happened near the pathway. The third master of Xiong Ci Mansion, Xiongda, appeared with his daughter. Xiongda had the biggest percent among any member of Xiong here. He managed 8% of the empire. He was doing great in the US and his connections were deep and wide. Instantly, those people who were surrounding Xiong Bailan, Xiong Kai, Xiong Li, and Xiong Mai were drawn to Xiongda. They did not think twice to curry his favor. When they saw his beautiful daughter beside him, who was like a little lady seductress, they praised her immediately. Some even bravely compared her to all the daughters. Third Master Xiongda, you did not tell us you're hiding beauty in your home. Your daughter is a goddess. Master Xiongda, your daughter is the most beautiful lady I saw today. Whoever will be your future son.in.law is so lucky. Mr. Xiongda, I heard your daughter titled as the youngest international model in history. She even secured a very big deal from France. Is that true? She is indeed a talented and beautiful lady. What a lucky father you are. Big brothers, you all flattered Wuyuer here. Wuyuer did not deserve your praises. My small deed here did not compare to Big Brother's accomplishments. You are all an idol of Wuyuer. Wuyuer is so happy meeting the mighty and famous Big Brothers. Xiong Wuyuer's sweet voice won all the man's heart. Oh. Ms. Wuyuer is very polite. We are the same age as your father, we are not a big brother anymore. The men laughed, but even though they said that they were very pleased inside, Xiong Wuyue's pretty eyes went wide. She gave out a surprised gasp. Wuyue is sorry. You all did not look like my father's age at all. Then the men laughed again. Xiong Bailan fisted his fist. Ever since that man and daughter duo appeared, their presence here in the pavilion diminished. They clearly steal the spotlight. Xiong Kai was thinking the same thing. But he could not do anything. He knows that his younger brother was a schemer bastard. He was likely the man who had great support in the Xiong family. Since old Xiong's only son died and he had no grandson, the other branch was eyeing the heir position. After some more minutes, the loud chattering suddenly became quiet. From a distance, a group was nearing the entrance. An old man wearing a white robe and a black hat was in front. Despite his age, he displayed ultimate power and authority, making all the powerful man in the room to acknowledge and revere the old man. On his side was a handsome man wearing a black robe. No doubt, the old man was the old Xiong and the man beside him was Mr. Zhou. The guest walked to their direction instantly to personally greet the old man when they momentarily stopped in their tracks. Behind the old man was a girl wearing light blue hanfu with white flowers embroidered with it. Her long black hair was half pin up held by a silver pin with diamonds at the tip in the shape of a flower. What left flows freely behind her. Her makeup was very light. Light blush, a light stroke of eyebrow and pink lips. However, because of this very makeup, her exquisite and defined features were clearly exposed to everyone. Her eyes did not wander anywhere, making the men want those lovely eyes to spare them a glance. And when that eyes of her glance at them swiftly, every man and woman in that direction felt their heart skipped a beat. Her eyes were surprisingly cold yet clear. It was like their soul was exposed to those very eyes. The girl's step was slow as she was following her grandfather. Everyone in the room could not help but watched as she gracefully and without flaw took a step. She was like a goddess who came out of the painting. Compared to the ladies in this room with thick makeup on them, this girl's natural exquisite beauty toppled them all. It was like among jewels and diamonds, she was a rare one who outshines them all. Everyone forgets the little seductress who appeared earlier. Everyone's attention was on the old man and the girl. They speculated that this girl was no other than the only first descendant in the Xiong family, Xiong Ji. Xiong Ji did not make any appearance before. Seeing her, the guest made up their mind to build a good connection to her. Xiong Wuyue was standing and like everyone else she was looking at the new group who arrived. But her eyes glued to the dashing man standing beside Xiong Ji. Lin Feng was wearing an all-black outfit. His black robe was wide and swinging in his every step. In this black outfit his creamy skin, red lips, and black unruly hair stand out. His collar was slightly open revealing his defined collarbone and his upper hard chest. He was exuding an aura of mightiness and asceziness. Standing beside Xiong Ji, they complemented each other. One with an aura of nobility and gracefulness and the other was like a mighty general who was ready to protect the goddess beside her. Xiong Wuyue examined the man. Her eyes were shining and her heart beats loudly. It's been a long time since I last saw him. He is becoming more handsome as time passed. Lin Feng glanced at Xiong Ji, said something to her and then he kneeled down. Xiong Wuyue saw Lin Feng lift up the hanfu, took of Xiong Ji's shoe and personally massaged her feet. Xiong Ji put a hand in Lin Feng's shoulder and she looked like she was stopping him. After a minute, Lin Feng put her shoe on, stand up and smiled gently at Xiong Ji. He leaned to whisper something that made Xiong Ji smiled. Gasps erupted from the onlookers. Not only Wuyue watched their small interaction but the majority of the people there. Seeing the young miss of Xiong smile was a shock to them. The girl was very beautiful and stunning when she smiles. She took all the hearts of men there. However, Xiong Wuyue was fisting her small fist. Her jealousy was eating her. The man she loved since young was smiling gently to another girl. It should be her. Lin Feng was only gentle with Xiong Ji because she was the young miss. But that girl did not deserve it all. She was better. The young miss of Xiong must be her. She was more talented. More beautiful. She must be the one standing beside Lin Feng. Xiong Wuyue glared daggers at Xiong Ji. One day that I will get everything from you. I'll be the young miss of Xiong. The mansion, the inheritance, your title, and even Lin Feng. They all will be mine someday. Xiong Ji was surrounded by the guest when she felt a glare behind her back. She turned her head in that direction and her cold eyes met an angry one. Chapter 48. Memories and Preparation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Days passed quickly and in a blink of an eye, Friday came. There were air traffic that day for one sole reason. People who were invited to a certain anniversary were flying over from foreign countries to China. And every one of them were riding a private plane. Xiong family, well-known businessmen, some legendary figures and media were all preparing for the anniversary banquet that would happen that night. Since it was the 325th anniversary of Xiong Empire, Old Xiong used the ancient theme for this banquet. All decorations, tools and even stuff's uniform were all ancient. It was a brand new material, however the design were all from ancient China. It was the same for the dress code. People must wear accordingly to the theme. In the biggest bedroom of the Xiong Ci mansion, maids were coming back and forth. They were carrying boxes of hairpins, earrings, etc. In front of a mirror, two young professional makeup artists and one fashion designer were attending a teenage girl. The younger makeup artist were drawing the girl's thin brows gracefully and cautiously. After how many hours, the two makeup artists let out a sigh of relief and wiped the sweats on their forehead. The girl looked at her image from the mirror and titled her head in every angle. The two makeup artist and the fashion designer began to lick her boots. With just a little effort from us, you, a beauty originally surpassed the goddess. I wish I have the same beautiful features as you. Little effort my ass. That's the longest time I did makeup to someone. The younger one said while her eyes shone deep admiration contrary to her thoughts. Originally, they were 8 makeup artists, but this Xiong girl was a tyrant. If one make a single mistake, no matter how little it was, they would be fired immediately. Yeah. For sure later, no one can compare with your beauty. All men there will glued their eyes on you, said the fashion designer. They were 15 earlier. Every one of them had special tasks. She, the last one that remained, was tasked to provide a pair of earrings. It was good that she picked the most expensive one. The 3 young women continued their praises while examining the girl. Xiong Wuyue was very pleased. She looked like a goddess. A seductive one. Her long curly hair was tied up in a beautiful bun. Beautiful braids surrounded the bun. How they managed to do that was a miracle itself. Some strands of curly hair on both sides were loose, teasing the gentleman to put it behind her ear. Hair ornaments that cost millions were dangling around her hair. A phoenix pin was added to make her more noble. Her thin brows were exquisite. Black and pink shades was extended in the corner of her eyes, making it more alluring. Her lips were full red. Her long neck was exposed and a little cleavage was winking at them. Her pink hanfu that made of silk and cotton was hugging her curves. It was embroidered with lotus and plum blossoms. It restrained the seductive aura that was emitting in Xiong Wuyue's body. True to the young women's words, Xiong Wuyue looked like a goddess of beauty. However, the look of contempt in her eyes and her smirk that was looking down at people destroyed the admiration of these young women. This miss was a beauty indeed, however her inner self was not true. In that banquet, I'll seduce all man. No one can resist my charm. Xiong Wuyue said while examining her slender neck. Including that man that I will not believe he will not fall from my charms. Then she smiled evilly. I will make sure that he will stay at my side. At the same time, in Xiong Mansion. Two older maids were busying themselves of putting makeup and braiding the girl's hair. The girl raised her hand to stop the older maid who was about to braid her hair. Make it simple. Then the girl turned to the other maid. Please put light makeup. And they continued. After a while, Xiong Ji stand up and was lead into the dressing room. There, 3 beautiful expensive handfas were displayed. Xiong Ji studied them for a moment before she walked and touched the simplest one. This dress brought her memories. To be precise, it was a sad and yet a loving memory. I was looking at the plain white hanfu that was brought to me. It was beautiful even it was plain and nothing on it. No maids could help me since it was a tradition that the descendants of the deceased must dress themselves in plain white cloth alone. However, it was my first time seeing this kind of dress. I never touched one so I did not know how to put it. After a while, I just put it according to my instinct. It has 3 layers on it. The thinnest one that I thought the inner garment was put first. Followed by the thickest cotton, then a silk. I tied it with a white ribbon. I let my hair down since I don't know what to make of it. I went to the mirror and stared at my cold empty eyes. It was the same I saw every day. And I always have the same feeling. However today, I felt my gaze become colder and emptier if that could make sense. In reality, I'm not close with grandfather. We treat each other as a neighbor. Well, I treat all people near me as a neighbor, nothing else. But that old man kept me since I was 7. Unknowingly, even I don't want to, I become a little dependent to him. What could I say? He provides me everything. He was my home. Not a home that one can feel safe, but a home that can provide your basic needs. Now, I wonder, was that I was feeling? I'm not sad to the point of shedding tears. I was just felt that a little lost. A little worried. What will my future will be? There are battles in inner family. Relatives were pulling me to their sides but I can't trust them. Grandfather said in his testament that I would be married to the Guan family. However, was that guy was trustful? Decent? A good man? I don't know. I don't know anything. For the first time, I felt hopeless. I can't trust no one, but I don't have anywhere to go. Suddenly a knock came. Lin Feng came in his black suit. My aide walked in and examined me for a moment. Then he smiled gently. Young miss, you put it wrongly. Do you want me to help you? Please do. I said. It was good I always maintained my cold expression but the heat still reached my ears. It was embarrassing. I untied the ribbon and began to undress. Wait. Lin Feng yelled while his one hand stopping me and the other blocking his face. What's the matter? Didn't you say you are going to help me? I asked. We have no time to waste. Yes. I said that. But not this way. You just have to listen to me. Oh. I see. I tied the ribbon again. Lin Feng put down his hands and I could see his face was red. He turned to me and smiled bitterly. Did you ever think me as a man? Ha. He is a man, right? Nothing. Did you put the thinnest first? Then you should. He continued on. Then he left. After I put the right arrangement of this hanfu, I walked out of the room. Lin Feng met me. We were now walking towards the hallway. At the end of it was the door connected to the funeral area where many people I don't recognize would be. I was about to open the door when my hand shook. I stared at it. Even I denied my body couldn't. That truth was, I'm afraid. I just stand there in front of the door for how long? Then a hand covered my shaking hand. I looked up to the owner of that hand. Lin Feng smiled gently and tightened his grip to my hand. It did not bring pain, but warmth and safety instead. Don't worry. I'm here by your side. I will not leave you. Can I call you Jir? So you can know I'm promising this not because of my duty, but being Lin Feng, a close person by your side. I just stared at him. I met him since I was 16. 2 years just passed. Could I really trust him? Could he really care about me when he just met me 2 years ago? What if he was taking advantage of my downfall? Targeting my inheritance? I looked down. I can't trust anybody. I'm alone since young, maybe I could survive this. I did not answer him and just opened the door. Yes, I'm afraid, but I have no choice. Xiong Ji's grip on the clothes tightened. What followed after that funeral was storm. Her uncle and cousin duo won the internal battle of inheritance of Xiong. Their true colors were exposed. Assassination on Xiong, who worked with old Xiong and the loyal Zhou, happened. Those who left were forced to support those evil duo. Some just fled. Some took advantage and cooperate with the two. Like that beast. However, in good side, Xiong Ji witnessed how Lin Feng defended her and never left her. This was how she came to trust the man. As he promised, when the treaty between Zhou and Xiong was broken, Lin Feng chose to stay at her side. He never once left her. Another image flashes in her mind. The time when they got separated. Xiong Ji immediately shut her mind. Those memories that she did not want to remember. But it did not mean she would let it go. Those who made them suffer, I will return it to them tenfolds. Third uncle, Xiong Wuyue Guan Shi Ren, I'll never forget what you did. Ms. Young Miss. Are you okay? The old maid asked. Xiong Ji turned her head to her and the old maid was shocked and almost fell to the ground. I'm okay. I'll choose this. Xiong Ji chose the light blue one that was embroidered by white flowers. The simplest among the three. While changing, she was also calming herself. Her heart was raging and her hands were itchy. Her legs wanted to run a lap. On the other side, the old maid was still pale and sweating. The older maid noticed it and asked. Are you okay? We almost done. Just hang on. Why? Yeah. The old maid replied with her heads down. Until now she could never forget the look of their young miss earlier. Full of hatred and killing intent.